Hello, everybody. Welcome to One City Squirrel, the 17th lesson of Introduction to Sakha. One of many. It has been a notable break that I've taken here with my other affairs, but I am back and ready to learn with y'all some talata, some vocabulary about us, food. And so let's get right into the vocabulary here. We have sour, bitter, or salted. Suge, suge, cream. Suge, sour cream. So literally sour or bitter cream is sour cream. It's not just for Mexicans. It is also for the northern folk. Kurtich. I'm like, what is Sabitan? The man who did the original translation before I reformatted this put that meaning, and maybe that name is used, but I had never heard of that, so I looked it up. The dictionary says drink made with milk, honey, and spice. Could call it a frappe, but it's not McDonald's, y'all. It's this interesting, beautiful looking milkshakey thing in a bowl there. Alright. Then we have nijigay, cottage cheese. Then we have kumis, which if you're not familiar is, let me scooch this down actually. It is that in that bottle. So it is, if you know Mongolian or Mongol cultures, it's arak. But it's a fermented milk drink made from mare milk, as you see there. And they have it all over Central Asia, Siberia, Mongolia. I think Russians may drink it too, some other folks around. And yeah, so that's that. Darwabuya. Health. Okay, then we have unach, cow. Urun, white or bright. Hayu, thick. Minigis, delicious or sweet. You get that in the expression minigis di kahan. Deliciously, yummily eat. Which you could say it's like bon appetit. Minigis di kahan. Okay. Swarak, soured milk, fermented milk, or stool, or whatever that is. And I was like, okay, so this kurtich is a dairy thing. Kumis is a fermented milk drink. So then what is swarat? I had to look it up. In the pictures, it doesn't look like a drink. It looks more like a yogurt. But it can come in a bottle. So unfortunately, I have not tried. I've tried kumis. I have not tried kurtich, nor have I tried swarat. So if you're Sakha and you're watching this, feel free to share your opinion and your view on the taste of these delicious drinks and foods. Okay, lastly we have arduk, bigger, better, surplus, or excess. It can mean something that's more something. It can be used with an adjective, as you'll see. And now we'll move on to remarks on grammar. The direct object. The part of the sentence that expresses the object immediately acted upon is called the direct object, which is denoted in the predicate. That's a fancy way of saying when you're doing something, you may be doing something to something or somebody, right? If I hit the wall is the object. For those who are not familiar with grammatical terms, I don't know how to explain predicate right now, but it doesn't matter. So when something is being done to, it is the object. And in some languages, you always have to put some kind of ending after an object. So if you say, I hit the wall, you'd have to put something after wall. In English, we don't have that. In Sakha, You may not have that, in which case they call it the fundamental or nominative case, which is just the original word, and the accusative, which does show the direct object. It is an ending for the direct object, which we learned. I think we learned that one already, actually, but we'll see here. So the fundamental case, aka no ending, is used in those situations in which the object undergoing action is understood in a general sense. So if we say, "Wal kinige agar," the boy reads a book, or the boy reads some book or another. Sayana wasta suyar. Suyar. Sayana washes floors in general. So it's when you'll see in a moment when we do put the accusative case ending, it's like the floor. When we don't put it, it's like a floor or floors. It's not pointed specifically to the thing. It's not emphatic. It's not stressing the object. The accusative case is used in those situations in which the object undergoing an action, something being done to, is understood concretely, aka it's obvious, as something known or determinate. Okay, so what do we do in English when something is known or determinate? We put the book, or we put that book. So wal kinigeni agar. The boy reads the book. Wal ichigei kinigeni agar. The boy is reading the good book. Or the boy is reading some specific good book. Maybe it's one you talked about earlier. Maybe it's the only one in the room. Maybe it's the one he'd be reading a lot. In which case you point to it specifically by putting that ending, ni kinige. The accusative case is required in those situations in which the direct object follows any sort of determination. That's a fancy way of saying when you have bu, meaning this, or you have an adjective like uchige, good, handuk, which. You might wonder, is it specific? Is it not specific? Well, it's automatically specific by way of having one of these words before it, because bu is this, so you're talking about something specific. Uchige is the good something. Handuk is which, so you're talking about, you don't know which one it is, but it's going to be specific. So bu kinigeni, uchige kinigeni, handuk kinigeni, and so on. And a little note that the verb tapta, to love, taptaben, I love, etc., always takes the accusative case. Min eigin taptaben means I love you. Min eigin, and then you is the accusative case form. Taptaben. Any questions about that? Let me know. I really try to clarify and simplify these academic, again, no shade to the translator or the original writer. They did a good job, but it's not my cup of tea. So for those of y'all who's like me, I put it in plain English. All right, let's do the sentences. The endings, in this case, accusative case ending there, third person present ending there. They are highlighted purple, and if there's a second ending, it's highlighted red. And I will read the Sakha once, and the direct translation once, literal translation word for word, and the natural translation once. Unach utu bierer. Cow milk u. That's the accusative case ending, aka direct object ending, gives. Milk comes from cows. So if cows give milk, milk comes from cows. All right. Uten, milk from. Suge, cream. Are, butter. Now don't be confused. Ahe is sour or bitter. Are is butter. Kurchech, Nijege, cottage cheese. Keler, comes. Milk from, cream, butter, kurchek, cottage cheese comes. So we don't have to put an and. in Sakha, but in English, cream, butter, kortech, and cottage cheese are made from milk. Uten, from milk. So that ten means from. Iti barta ürün as bolar. This all white food was iti, we talked about it before, it can be translated as this or the. Some books translate it as that. It's confusing, but just keep in mind it refers to something that is usually spoken about prior or you're pointing at it. Whereas bu is more like this. Voila, voici. Not voila, voici in French if you know French. Vote if you know Russian. This here if you're from the US South. Okay, but et is more like this or that or the in my translation. All of these are white foods. Kumus emye ürün as. Kumis, also white food. Kumis is also a white food. Excuse me. Ürün ahı Sakha olahanlık taptır. White food, and notice we have the accusative case ending, because we have love at the end, and the C of ahı changes to an H. And in this lesson, I put a dark purple for the letters that change, or the forms, the words that totally change, that are irregular in a way, or just change depending on what's after it. I don't think I'm going to keep doing that because it looks just like the regular purple ending, and it might be more confusing, but just keep that in mind for this lesson. So as is food, ahı is food with the accusative case ending, the direct object ending. Sakha as in Sakha people. Ulahanlık, and we could put nuk in light purple because that's technically an ending. Ulahan means big. Ulahanlık means bigly or greatly. And I might change bigly to greatly because it's clearer. Taptır, loves. Ürün ahı Sakha ulahanlık taptır. White food Sakha greatly loves. Yakuts, or Sakha people, really love white food. Alright, Sügey Sakhara Sama. Sorry, Mongolian pronunciation slipped in. Samay. Miniges as. Cream, Sakha at, or to, most tasty food. So in this case, it's like for, this ra. It usually is translated as at or to, but it could also mean for. Cream is the most yummy food for Yakuts. Samay means most or absolutely. So now you know your superlative for y'all linguistics people. And miniges, we talked about earlier, means tasty, yummy. Okay. Kortegi. I'm not going to highlight that letter change, but it's kortek. And because we add the E, the H becomes a R. Kortegi. Ağalar, artık, taptılar. Kurchak e child's bigger love. Children love kortek the most. Now let me just double check how I translated that before. Bigger, better. Yeah, maybe more. I put the most, but more would be better. Ironically. Children love kortek better. And since we can translate it as that better, we'll put better there too. So children love korchek better, or actually let's, in the natural translation, put more. They love it more than cream. Ahı üten sorat gelir. So sour milk from sorat comes. Sour milk or fermented milk, which we call sorat, is made from bitter or sour milk. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Sorat emye içige as. Sorat, also good food. Sorat's also good. Arı hayu sügeiten gelir. Butter, thick cream from comes. Butter is made from a thick cream. From thick cream or from a thick cream? 都可以. I mean, either one. Now I'll speak in Chinese. Urung as darwa buyaga uchige. What food? Urung as darwa buya. Health. Ga. 2, or in this case 4. Uchige. Good. So just like we say good for your health in English, we can say that in Sakha darwa buyaga uchige. White food is good for you. Now this section is a translate section of the lesson of the original textbook. Link in the audio if you want it. I translated it for us because that's what I do. But also because do you really need to translate a bunch of sentences when you're a noob? You can, and you're certainly welcome to if you want to pause here and go translate it yourself and then come back and check your answers. However, in my humble opinion, the method that I follow in my language learning is I get tons and tons and tons of input. I'm not against studying. I love grammar textbooks. However, you need lots of examples or else it's going to be like pulling teeth to try to form a sentence. But when you've heard these sentences a million times, I say not literally, but many times, it's going to be easy. You hear Darawa boyaga uchige so many times, you're just going to say it naturally or write it naturally. You hear words with the ga at the end, or the den ending, or the ending so many times, it's going to be natural. Keler, tapter, you're going to naturally say it, okay? All right. Yem sarsarta ogalorga kortech pierde. So mother by morning. Child. I put childs because we have this like lot. It's like the plural ending. So child and then plural ending and then ga 2 at or 4. Kurchech, our drink that we learned about, or our food that we learned about earlier. Bierte, gave. You may remember bier, gives, and then we add the de for past tense. My mother gave the children kurchech in the morning. Yem sarsarta ogalorga kurchech bierde. Ogalor kurchegi torgenik sietiler. Here we have the past tense, which we learned a couple lessons ago, I believe, and the plural form. So, tiler. In this case, child's, put a dash, korchech plus e, direct object ending, quickly, torgenik, sietiler, 8. And you may remember, I don't remember if we had it in the vocabulary before, so I put it here, eat or dine. And then sir, it's a little irregular looking. He or she eats or he or she dines. I put a note for there. It was lesson 16. Last lesson, we did have that apparently. Okay, whatever. Is is to drink. And I just put that there so you remember eat and drink. Sia is. Sir, iher. Okay. Agam hayu wanna ahe suwarat tapter. Father, buy thick and sour suwarat. Direct object ending u, meaning fermented milk. And I forget why I put that there, but you can call it fermented milk. Loves. My father loves thick and sour fermented milk. Kini suwarat ebiekke sir. He or she, but in this case he. Suwarat, direct object ending. Dinner for, or dinner to, eats. So he eats fermented milk. Why did I put it as, yeah, you know what, let's not call it fermented, let's just call it suwarat. Because it's not really just fermented milk, and it's what we would call it in English a pudding, to be honest with you. We wouldn't call it a milk because it's thick and you're eating it, you're not drinking it. So let's just keep the native name for it, suwarat. Okay, so he eats suwarat for dinner. Okay. Aita suwarat taptabat. Aita doesn't like fermented milk. Aita fermented milk love not. Read it backwards, but you got it. Kini eter, she says, or he says. Actually, Aita, I'm going to be honest with you, I forgot if that's a male or a female name. Hold on. Okay, I googled it. It says it's a female name, so I guess I was right. But I think it was a female name, but I wasn't sure. But anyway, so yeah, she is correct. All right, Kini eter, she says, suwarat kuhagan ahı kortek ardu. He or she says fermented milk, and again, let's just change this to suwarat because I feel like it's confusing. Try to translate it because to the Americans, myself at least, these kumis, suwarat, all of this seems quite similar to us because we're not as familiar with it. So let's keep the native names. So suwarat, bad, sour. Korchek, better. So she says fermented milk isn't good and it's sour. Korchek is better. Bugün astuala boyga kumis bierdiler. Okay. Let me make sure I didn't make a typo. Oh yeah, astuala boyga. Oh yeah, because it ends in a yeah. Okay. Bugün astuala boyga kumis bierdiler. So they serve today cafeteria at Kumis gave, and as far as I understand, astuala boy can be cafeteria like at a school, or it can be like a dining room. They served kumis at the cafeteria today. Kumis hayu wana kinyeche are bar. Now I'm gonna keep making this like dark purple for the words that change almost completely or completely. That don't have a clear ending or the ending is irregular. But I'm not going to keep doing that for like when one letter changes like we had earlier with the direct object ending. Just heads up for y'all. Okay, kumis, thick, and to him or her. Are bar. So are we had earlier is butter, but it could also be oil. So we can think of this as it has a oil or it's oily. So kumis is thick and is oily. Thick and oily. So she doesn't like thick and oily food. John baru kumahu. So that's kumis. The s changes to a h because it meets a vowel starting ending. Kumahu. Elbechtik istiler. Falk all kumis u many li, because elbech means many, and then tik is like the li ending, so it makes it into an adverb. Drank, but that means like a lot of. So everyone drank a lot of kumis. Almost done. Kieche ubayam ette agalar. And we sometimes add that extra vowel. I think that threw me off in a past lesson. I was like, I'm confused, but I think I did read, I just can't remember where, that it's for like when you're calling somebody, you might add an extra vowel, something like that. Hannak as arduk binigehi. Evening, older brother, my said, child, which food better tasty? The question indeed, In the evening, my older brother asked, kids, which food is the yummiest? Aitater kortek nurgun eter suach ahe surge arduk miniges. Aita says, kortek. Nurgun says, no, sour cream, bigger yummy. AKA, Aita says kortek. Nurgun says, no, sour cream is yummier, more yummy. All right. Bu necegei kimsir. this cottage cheese who eats? Who's gonna have some of this cottage cheese? Keling sien. You may remember the ing and the ending is for telling y'all to do something. So, excuse me. So this ing is not the English ing. Part of my burping, y'all. I have issues. Just don't take it as rudeness, please. And the ng is the same thing. So if it ends in a consonant like kel, you add ing. If it ends in a vowel like sie, you just add ng. Keling sien. So I put come and get it, but let's put a y'all in there because in English it's plural. We say y'all. Y'all come and get it. That's what we say when it's time to eat food in the kitchen. Grandma's calling. Kebeh kim tapteri. Tapteri. Tapteri. Tapteri. There we go. So y'all come, y'all eat. Kubus. Who loves them some kubus? And then say alun. So and I put take y'all, but it's like y'all take some, here y'all go. If you're not from the South or you're from another country, you might be really confused right now, but just bear with me. Bieche suarate birite. To be, bieche, fermented milk. Again, I'm going to say suarat. I should have double checked this before I started recording, but you know what? Such is life. There's always hiccups. Stuff happens. Alright. Give, don't give me any suarat. And again, we could translate it as fermented milk, but I'm just going to say suarat. That should be an S up there. Okay. I said we're almost done. Okay, now we're actually almost done. Bu suarat ahı. This suarat, bitter. This suarat is bitter. And I recommend y'all who are not familiar with Sakha foods to go Google them or look it up on YouTube, see, or whatever search engines or websites y'all use in your country, and see pictures. This is one picture I had of the suarat, but there's other pictures. It doesn't always look exactly like that. I wonder what those little things are in there. They look like little cranberries or something. It looks delicious. I love northern food. I love it. I mean, in the U.S., I love southern food, but in, other countries, I love northern food. Okay. Yep. Arın kim siete? Who ate the butter? Ütü kim iste? Who drank the milk? İti ütü ihibe. And you may remember me, ma, mu, the ending for you don't do such and such, rather than y'all do such and such. If it was ihimeng, it would be like y'all don't. So this milk, drink, don't drink the milk. Don't drink this milk. İti yara üte. This child drank, the child or this child drank it. Suaratı elbektik sieme ihin alca. Suarat many, li, drink, don't, belly, your hurt. So we have a lot of endings here, but in natural English, don't drink a lot of fermented milk or you'll get a bellyache. Don't drink a lot of, don't eat. Did I put drink? Eat. Eat is drink, sie is eat. So don't, I'm taking y'all along to ride with me this time with my editing, because apparently I didn't do a good enough job the first time. So don't eat a lot of suarat or you'll get a bellyache. Good to know, because it looks so good. I might have went to Yakutia and just drank it all up, or ate it all up, excuse me. Suwarata el bektik siame ihing alja. Don't eat a lot of suwara or you'll get a bellyache. That is all for today, y'all. And I hope you're enjoying learning Sakha along with me here. And I will see y'all the next time. Thank you. Please comment, though. Please comment. If you got to this point, you got to comment. It's like part of the rules. All right. Bye.